Hello and welcome to my Monday night streaming where we talk mostly about AI. And today we're gonna take a look at Chat GPT for beginners and some tips and tricks that can be useful if you are new to Chat GPT. So I am going to share my screen here. Hi James, welcome. So when it comes to ChatGPT, we have the free version, which I have up on screen here, but we also have a paid version, which I have up on screen here. We are going to focus mostly on the free version today, but I will show you a couple of things that maybe can make it worthwhile to subscribe to ChatGPT, depending on how much you're going to use it. You can do a lot in the free version. So if we start by looking here, I am using ChatGPT 3.5, which is the fastest model. ChatGPT 4 you can only use if you are subscribed. And I think, let me see here, $20 a month is the cost for ChatGPT 4. And you see to the left here, I haven't any inquiries, any chats here at all yet, because I created this account the other day just to be able to do this live stream where we can compare the two. But down here, a couple of tips that can be really good to use when you come to the free version. Here you have my account. If I click on the three little dots there, I can of course log out from here. If we go into settings, in general settings, we have just two. We can have the system setup or choose dark or light. I go with the theme of the system. I'm usually having a dark theme. Then we have some data controls, and if you enable this, it will save your chats over on the left-hand side here. You can share a link to a chat, to an inquiry you have done, and if you do so, you can manage your shared links here if you don't want to share it anymore. You can export your data, and that is all the questions you have asked over time will be exported as a zip file, and you can save it on your, I think, you get an email to a downloadable file, and then you download. The download link will expire within 24 hours. But if you go straight to your email and you download it and then unpack it, you will have all your previous chats with ChatGPT on your computer. And then you can, of course, delete your account from here. But if you want to keep all the inquiries you have had, make sure you go into settings under data controls and enable this. If you have it disabled, it will not share any of your chat history. So that was a couple of very, very basic things. But let's start talking about asking questions. This is a language bot, so let's start with the simple one. Can you write a letter? No. Call it an email to my friend asking if she can babysit my dog this weekend. And we hit enter. And subject line, weekend doggy favor. Hi, friend's name. I hope this email finds you well. And for some reason, every time you ask for email, it starts with, I hope this email finds you well. And then it goes on asking, and you have to fill in the information here, dates, dog's name, and so forth. But let's say that I realized that I missed something very important, and this is tip number 1. You can go up here to where you asked your question and change it by clicking that little pencil that was there and add some information. And tip number 2, one type of information that is very useful is to assign Chat GPT a role, a persona. So write this as if you are a pirate. Save and submit, and now it will write this over again. Ahoy, matey. I hope this message find ye well amidst the rolling waves of life. And now it writes it in the type of a pirate. We can also assign it another type. Write this letter as if you are Abraham Lincoln. And let's see. My dearest friend, I trust this letter finds you in good health and high spirits. It is with a heavy heart and a sense of deep humility that pen these words to request a favor of you. And so forth. And that was tip number 2. Tip number 1 was you can go in and rewrite your initial question. Tip number 2, you can assign it a persona. Let's click new chat. Now you see here that we have this chat saved. Tip number 3, and this is a good habit to start with from the beginning. You can go in and change the name of this. So, email dog sitter, I call this. That way it will be so much easier for me to find my different chats here when I have renamed them to something that fits. You like the pirate version better? Well, I guess it depends on who you are writing to. Let's try another query or question or chat. I think they usually call them chat. can you write all the states in the US with their capital and their motto? And here it goes: Alabama, Montgomery, and so forth. A long, long list. This will take a little while before it's done. And this time it decided to write it as a list, which makes sense in a way. But my next tip has to do with format. This will be, as I said, a long list. It's almost done here. You see, this is not easy to get an overview over. So I can tell it what format I want. And in this case, we're going to use it. Write this in a table with column 1 being the state, column 2 being the capital, and column 3 being their motto. And nothing of that got written. Write this as a table, column 1 the state, column 2 the capital, and column 3 their motto. And now it writes it as a code. And I didn't like that. Let it finish. And then we will write this as a 3-column table for a Word document. Oh, it does it again. I don't want to end that. Write this in text format. And I can't spell, but luckily I have another AI in the background. Grammarly. Stop. Okay, it won't do it. So let's copy the code and let's open a doc. And paste it. Didn't work very well. I don't know why it is doing this right now. So let's create a table with 3 columns. Column 1, all US states. Column 2, state capital. Column 3, state motto. Let's see. Here we go. I needed to say create a table with 3 columns for it to do it right. And here we go. And this will be so much easier to find. Are you done yet? Yes, you're done. So we will call it states. And as I said, try to remember to rename them right away. Let's start a new chat. And this time, we're going to ask ChatGPT, create a 5-day meal plan that is easy to cook and take no more than 30 minutes. No dairy products. And here it goes. Breakfast, lunch and dinner every day. And I hope it has no dairy products. Meal plan. Now we're going with the next tip. Write a follow-up question. Can you add the nutritional value to each meal? And here it goes. It rewrites it with the added information. In nutritional value for each of the suggestion it had up here. And let's say that this black bean and vegetable quesadilla, I want to. Can you give me a recipe for the quesadilla? And let's see. Here we go. So follow-up questions is another excellent tip for those of you that are new to Chat GPT. Now we're gonna do something more advanced. Can you explain what BCI is? So here we go. BCI stands for brain-computer interface, and it goes on with rather complex description. Now I'm going to follow this up with a very useful question when you research more complex topic. Can you explain this to me as if I am 10 years old? And here we have a very simplified explanation about BCI. Brain signals, listening to your brain, making things happen. if we want it to be even simpler, we can say, can you explain this as if I am 5 years old? So we compare the first. Brain signals. Our brains are super smart and send tiny electrical signals to make bodies move or think. BCIs listen to these signals. For the 5-year-old, it says, your brain talks with your body using tiny invisible superpowers called brain signals. It's like magic messages your brain sends. So depending on what age you ask ChatGPT to be, the simpler the explanation will be. Oh, did I save that? I continued in the same discussion here as meal plan. That was not very smart of me. So let's start a new chat this time so we don't mess it up. Can you explore the history of AI? Okay, and now ask it, can you rewrite this as a story for children? This time I'm asking it to change the format of the writing as a story. And here we go. Once upon a time in a world filled with curious inventors and clever scientists, there was a magical idea called artificial intelligence, or AI for short. Chapter 1, The Birth of AI. And it goes on all the way. So you can also, that was, I don't know what number of tip this was, but you can ask ChatGPT to change the style of the writing. Before we take a quick look at the paid version, there is one very good thing you can use, both in the free and the paid version. And that is here under your account, the 3 little dots, custom instructions. And this is if you use ChatGPT for some specific type of writing all the time. You can set up these custom instructions, and every time you ask for that type, it will write according to the instructions you leave here. The first part is, what would you like ChatGPT to know about you to provide better responses? And we have some questions here that you can answer, but I have actually saved in Google Docs a couple of different personas, and that's my suggestion to you to do. Oh, I think I have it in my right. We're going to change to my other account. Let's see if I persona. Let's go to Docs again and see if I have it here. No, I must have it somewhere here. I changed to this. No, that's not it. Okay, let's skip this and let's just write it. I am Pixel Pia, a video tutorial creator. Let's just save it for that. When I use the term tutorial, write me a outline for a video covering the topic I ask for in a bullet form. And I can't spell bullet. Ballet, no. Bullet form. And you have to enable this for new chats and click save. And let's start a new chat and say a tutorial about Chat GPT for beginners. That's all I'm writing, a tutorial about Chat GPT for beginners. And since I said specifically that if I use the word tutorial, it should do this. And here we have a bullet form list of Chat GPT tutorial. Certainly, Pixel Pia. Here is an outline for a video tutorial about getting started with Chat GPT for beginners. Introduction and what I should talk about that. What is Chat GPT and a couple of bullet forms. Setting up Chat GPT. Interact with Chat GPT. And so forth. And as I said, I have saved a couple of these personas, both where I saved what I wanted ChatGPT to know about me and the instruction to what I wanted it to do when I used certain terms. So if you are using ChatGPT, let's say that you use ChatGPT for an outline for a blog post very often, 3 times a week, 5 times a week. You can put in there all the ways you want ChatGPT to format this blog post outline. So when you don't have to worry as much about all the information you put in the chat itself, because it has that saved. If we go in and look here again on the custom instruction, As long as I have this change saved, I can go in, and if I could have found my docs, I have this down for my podcast as well, The Geeky Boomer, and I can go in and just copy and paste that persona's information. And when I use the word podcast, it will write it in a totally different way. It will give me sources, it will give me links to the web and a lot of stuff, because for the podcast, I use it more as a research tool. So that was my tips for beginners when it comes to the free version. But we also have this version. Why is this window open? This is the paid version, and you can see I have so many saved. I should go in and clean these out because I have downloaded them. The difference between the free and the paid version is I have custom instructions exactly the same way. But under settings, I have this beta features. These are things that they are just trying out. And I have added on that I can use plugins. And then we can have advanced data analysis. But I don't use that too much, so I have that turned off. But since I have plugins, I can now use Chat GPT, our most capable model, great for tasks that require creativity and advanced reasoning. And when I have it set, I can have it set to default, then it doesn't use any of the plugins. Or I can go into plugins here, and if I click on that little down arrow here, we see a couple of plugins that I have. For example, these consensus search, get answers and insight directly from 200 plus million scientific papers. To use, just ask a research question. I have that installed for my research. Prompt perfect, start your prompt with perfect to craft the perfect prompt every time. I have Video Insight IO. That means that I can paste in a link to a YouTube video and ask ChatGPT to just write to summarize the most important part of that video. Ask Your PDF is another plugin I have installed. That means that I can upload a PDF and ask it to do the same thing as with Video Insights. Oops. And Web Pilot makes it possible for ChatGPT to search the web. Normally, ChatGPT can't search the web. It bases all its answer on the information up to 2021. That was the cutoff date. But with that plugin installed, it can search the web. And then we have the plugin store. And here we have lots and lots of plugins. All, let me see, 117 pages of 8 plugins on each. So that is 1,000 plugins almost. And you can search plugin for, let's see, formatting. No plugins found for that. Storybooks, create bedtime stories, AI Quest, an interactive text adventure, all kinds of thing here. And the new you will see as the latest, if you take off story there. New, A/B analytics, A/B test and analyze data from Google Analytics, and so forth. And popular. Ask Your PDF is one of the popular one. If I search here, let's say that I search for something that has to do with PDF, you will see we have 40 different plugins for PDF. So to choose which one to use, some of them are really great, some of them are more questionable. Here you can click this little link to see who created it. And you can send an email from here to that creator. There are so many websites and YouTube channels where you can find information of what is the best Chat GPT plugins to use. But with the paid version, and did I say $25 a month, you get a lot of extra possibilities that you don't get with the free version. Since I use it a lot for research, I think it's worth $25 a month for me. But as I showed you, there are a lot of things you can do with the free version. Chat GPT is not the only multi-language model out there. There are many. Chat GPT is maybe the most known right now. If you want to learn more about another chatbot like this, later on this week I will upload a video in my series about Google applications where I will take another look at Google Bard, which is similar but have different functions than Chat GPT. Now, are there any questions in the chat? Before I end this part of the live stream. There, I can't find where I have my things on the screen right now. I'm sorry if I was a little confused there for a second. As I said, I love ChatGPT, but there are things that I prefer to do in Google Bard, which I will talk about later on this week. But for me, it's worth the money to pay $25 for ChatGPT. I use it so very much. And now I am, as always, putting the link to this live stream in the chat if anybody wants to pop in and we can talk about ChatGPT, or we can talk about something else that's on your mind. For now, this part of the stream is over. And if nobody is interested in coming up on screen, or we have no questions, I guess I will end this stream early today. Let's see. Here we have the results of the poll I put up. 66% said yes, I use ChatGPT, but just the free one. 33% said no, I am curious. And 0% said yes, I use ChatGPT Plus. Okay, take your time, James. I'm here. It's not a big deal. And guess who's first?
Hey, Peter.
Hi, DJ. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm fine. Have you been lurking the whole stream?
Just the past few minutes. Um,
Okay.
I'm trying to get something set up for tomorrow. So, yeah.
Okay. Are you still using that other software for your live streams?
OBS, yes, I am.
No, the call-in thing and
Oh, the vision
the.
and stuff. I'm trying to get away from that now because
Okay.
because it is costing me a few problems. So to
Yeah, I wasn't really a fan of that, the little I saw of it.
no, I could. I mean, I'm gonna be trying to use Skype tomorrow to see if
Okay.
that works any better. I mean,
Okay.
basically, I'm trying to do it for free, and I don't want to go back to pay for Zoom at any time. So, yeah, yeah.
Hi, James.
Hello! I was able to get in this
Hey,
time.
James.
How are you?
Survival. Hmm,
I'm doing good. It's been crazy.
nice.
It's been crazy. Oh, yeah.
Yep. Life's been,
So,
hectic as usual, but I'm trying
how
to get
much do
back into
you?
content again. So
Yeah. What? Which of your channels?
this one, I've been doing some stuff on my CTX scavenger channel, doing some online auctions and stuff. Well, I was, and then my 2-year-old or 4-year-old knocked over my Sony Sigma camera, or my A6400 camera, shattered the lens,
Mm,
bent some things on the camera, made it not working properly.
Yeah.
And
that's
so,
not fun.
yeah. And I got another camera. I got a GoPro because we were already looking at getting one anyway. But the GoPros, unlike the Sony camera, require almost as much light like a cell phone. And my
This
lighting
is
just is
what
not good enough.
I got the webcam.
Yeah.
Cool.
No,
That's
that's
good.
not my webcam. That's my new cam. What am I talking about? That was the wrong box.
Yeah, like I see it because I see you hold a glove
Oh,
box.
wait. Oh, yeah. I got that camera too. That camera I have here. It's like a GoPro, but it's installing.
Yep.
And it's here. Here is the camera module. It can do 4K.
Cool. Yeah,
And
I
you
like
can
the
have it
GoPro.
like,
It gets 4K, but it requires a ton of light. It's almost like a phone sensor on how small their light sensors are.
and you have all these
And
different settings on, hang it on you and put it on here and put it on there and put it on your wrist, and I have all kinds of stuff. I got this because we're going on a cruise again.
ooh,
And
Nice.
this is really nice. It has a little screen,
oh, that's cool.
and even if I take out the camera, I set this little camera somewhere, put it up somewhere, I can see it here, what I'm doing, and
Cool.
set it up from here. So I thought that would be a nice camera to bring when you go on vacation.
Yeah, that's nice.
So I have this little bag, takes everything in it, all the extra mounts, all the crap like that. This is
Yeah.
all I need. No, I got, what is, that's an Insta-Link too, I think. My new
Yo,
webcam.
so you're not used to that motion frequency, or is it in the frequency that
Let me see, I have to go in and look what camera it is I bought. That's really neat too, my camera. It can do like down. I have it. It's tiny. I can't show you, but it can do overhead shots. You just click on a thing and it does overhead shots. And what is it called here? That's Insta 360 Go 3. Here it is. Insta 360 Link. I know it was an Insta 360, but it's Insta 360 Link. I don't know where I have the box. That's a really good camera too.
nice.
And it's this half the size of the white one.
Cool.
So James, I guess you were one of those that said you used the free Chat GPT.
Yeah, I think I was the only one saying anything in the chat, so it was pretty much all me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
No, it was
Yeah,
it was other people that had replied, but
weird because I'm the only one showing up on mine.
Well, no, I'm looking at Lego and there was
3 people had answered the poll. 2 used the free and 1 said no, but I'm curious. So I don't know who they were. Nobody said anything in the chat.
Well, I
Yeah.
use the free.
Yeah.
And using it is kind of loose. I have it. I've used it a few times. I've done like 4 or 5 different things. In fact, I was using it while you were doing your thing in there. I didn't know
Yeah.
about the whole like you can type in, say it like a pirate and that kind of stuff.
Oh,
You can also.
you can do-
I typed one in because I said I wondered what this would say, and I said, "Say it like a toddler."
yeah.
And
And it was. And you can do one thing that I like. Let me show you. Here. Let's go back to the email of the dog sitter here. Let me share that again. Where is my window? Share screen. Share this. Let's see. My computer starts to get tired. It's still waiting. Here it comes. No, didn't I? Yeah, here it comes. So here we have, it doesn't show up yet. There we go. So
Yeah.
let's go in and change this. Write this as if, write this in the voice of Snoop Dogg. Save and submit. What up, my homie? Hope you're chilling like a villain. It's like, I love doing that stuff just for entertainment. So you can do it in any style you want. It's just, that is one thing I like.
Nice.
But that's cool, especially if you're struggling to like write scripts and stuff for videos. It's just what I'm like looking at it for. Is I'm trying to, because I really want to get back into the shorts and TikToks and at least get that rolling, and then start working on longer form videos out of that. But
And just to get ideas. I mean, even
it's
if you
great.
don't.
I'm brainstorming ideas. I've got several ideas. My biggest issue right now, like with my scavenger channel, like, it's really easy because I kind of know that audience. I know who I'm creating content for. For this channel, I've never really sat down and defined who the audience is that I'm talking to. And I've had content just all over the place. So that's one of the things I'm trying to do is, out of the 10 different things I've done with this channel over the last, because I've had this channel since 2010. I've gone through about 10 different iterations on this channel of what type of content I wanted to do on it. So I really need to figure out, this is the core audience and this is the content that I'm going to create for that audience on this channel, and then start creating a strategy from there.
But that are questions
I've
you
got
can.
so many ideas of things that I could do content on, but it's like, which one do I want to stick with for a long enough period? And with my ADHD, I don't want to stick with anything for more than about 6 months, and then my brain's off to something else.
But that's something you can actually use ChatGPT for too.
Yeah.
Like, write down your 5 different ideas and ask ChatGPT what would the ideal target audience be for these 5. What would be, and one thing that I forgot to say about in the tips, ask ChatGPT for the negative parts. Because ChatGPT, if you ask a friend, you say, oh, I have this idea, what do you think? A friend is a little nice and don't want to hurt your feelings. ChatGPT don't have feelings. So if you ask ChatGPT, what would be the negative effects of doing this? It tells you. I mean, you get... So that's one thing that I like with ChatGPT. Why shouldn't I do this? Why would this be negative to do? And it just spits it out. Since it has no feelings.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a machine. It's...
Yep.
But I really like that they added this, whatever it's called, the persona thing that you can save in the, what was it called? Gosh, my memory. The custom instructions.
Yeah, and the custom instructions, and that just
I
automatically
have
applies those every time.
I have set it up so I have one custom instruction and profile for me as a person for this channel. And then I have a totally different one for my podcast that gives totally different results. And then I just have told it that when I use the word tutorial, I want an idea for a script, and the script should be around 10-15 minutes, and I want it in bullet points like, okay, these are the things. When I do for my podcast, I have an instruction that if I write the word podcast, it knows that it's for the geeky boomer, that my name, I'm the host, I'm Pixel Pia, and I want research for a topic. Like, for example, BCI is one thing I'm researching right now. That's why I thought about asking about BCI. It gives me a lot of resources, and it uses sensors for me. So
Right.
it get information from these really deep papers that scientists have done. So it's totally different when I use one persona and the other. And I know there is an AI guy here, channel here on YouTube, that he has a course for AI in general, but he have 300 different personas that you can buy from him. It's $40 or 45 in categories: educational, a lot of different personas, like you are a professor at the university, blah 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 blah, and if I ask this type of question, this is the outcome I want. And I think it's over 300 persona in that package that he sells.
Nice.
And you just copy and paste depending on what type of. But I mean, nobody needs that many personas. But I have two very distinct, one for this channel and one for my research for my podcast. And it makes it so easy because you don't have to worry too much about the prompt you're giving. I mean, you just write tutorial and topic. Really, that's all I need to write in my when I start my research. And then I get all, since I have the plus version, I also get all the web links and all of that, since I have the plugins. And then you go from there. It's so easy.
Nice.
And sometimes I find a good PDF from a research and I upload it. But as I said, this week I'm going to do a tutorial about Google Bard. Google Bard has a really good function that Chat GPT hasn't. And that is that you can upload images and have them write something from the image.
Cool.
So,
That's good.
yeah. And Google Bard is free for now, at least. I don't know how long it will be free, but so I have done a very basic Google Bard tutorial before, but now I'm gonna go in a little bit more in detail.
Is that the one you were using to create videos on the other day? I know you had one.
No.
One of these lives you were
No.
actually creating videos on one.
Yeah, no, that was, what's it called? AI in video.
Yeah.
That was this one. Let me show you. Oh, now let me see. Let me share that.
In video. I found it.
In wait, come on now, stop sharing and share it again. Oh boy, my computer starts to get tired here. ai.invideo.io is the...
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, you got it. Yeah. And then I have found I'm going to do one Monday, I'm going to talk about that. I just signed up for a new one.
Give 'em a minute to be right back.
That was weird. I got logged out from StreamYard.
Yeah.
I just found one for podcast, not for creating podcast or anything. That I do in Descript. But this was, you upload, you give it the RSS file for your podcast, and it creates newsletter, blog post, transcript. I mean, I think it was 10 different things it creates for. Let me see what it was. Pod Weeze. Let me see. It creates a full transcript. Let me see all of it here. Show notes, timestamps, titles, links and mention from your podcast, keywords, a blog post, a newsletter, a post for LinkedIn and Facebook and whatever you want to do it. A load of possible tweets about that specific podcast episode, quotes from the podcast episode, bullet points, and then it can create quote images with the quotes from the podcast episode you uploaded. And for the free, you can upload 50 minutes of free podcast time per month. And for $15 a month, you can upload 160 minutes per month.
Cool.
For the free, it just generates from RSS feeds, so we can only do it after your episode is published. But for the $15 a month, you can upload your audio or video file before you publish it and get all this done. I mean, it was crazy good. That would save so much, because that's another thing I use Chat GPT for a lot. Like, this is my transcript of my podcast. Can you write show notes for it? Or can you write, suggest titles and all of that? With this Pod Squeeze, it's called, you get all that automatically. All these things after you upload your podcast. And 160 minutes, that's like 40 minutes a week.
Yeah.
And my podcast is usually around 30 minutes a week. So that will cover a whole month. Oh,
Yep.
it's great. And then you have a landing page for your podcast that they share with people, other people that use this. And you can go in and find other people's podcast here. It's really, I mean, with AI, I save so much time if I do this. So I flipped over. I used another AI before this for $15 a month. So I canceled that and I went for this one instead. So that is one that I'm going to talk about sometime on these Monday nights. There is so much AI, so it drives me crazy. I mean, I
Yeah, I
want
mean,
to talk about it all.
everybody acts like AI is new, but it's been around for years. So there's a lot of it
Yeah,
out there.
in the
There's a lot of it we've been using for years without even realizing it. It's just been
Yeah.
recently that it's come into the news and into the
but
mainstream.
it's what happens was in the early 2000s when they started develop good machine learning and these language models, but AI started 56 was the first like summer conference when they started to create ideas about AI, and
Yep.
then it has gone. But I mean, it's just the last couple of years that this type of AI has been available for public.
Yep.
The chat models and all of that. But I mean, Alexa is AI. I mean, all of this
Yeah.
AI recommending you movies is AI.
I mean,
Your
Google's been
web,
using AI since it started. So,
yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean,
if
sorting
you've
out
ever,
spam in your email, that's
yeah,
AI.
yeah, if you've ever done a search email or a
Mm.
search on any website, you've been using
Mm.
AI. So,
Yeah,
I
but
mean, Facebook
I
uses
mean,
AI technology. That's how they feed you all of the stuff that's what you want, what they think you want to see. It's AI technology running all of that.
yeah. But what I am so fascinated about is this all new generative AI, where
Mhm.
you as a person can go in and use it and create something, whether
Yeah.
it's video, music, images. I mean, you should see all my Mid-Journey shit. I have started to do all my thumbnails in Mid-Journey, all of them. It's like it's because it's fun. It's creative and fun. So I guess I can do this Monday live streams forever if I'm gonna keep on talking generative AI.
Oh yeah. And it's new enough. I mean, there's as more and more is developed and coming out, it's going to be just something that grows and expands
Oh, oh yeah, this
exponentially
is
over the
just in
next.
the baby format still.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yep.
What about you, DJ? How much do you use AI for your content?
Funny that you have because I'm actually using AI right now to like my next podcast episode. So
Okay.
yeah, I
Are you using it? You have a theme. You have the what's it called? The Japanese, the
anime.
anime. So, do you use AI then for research, or how do you use
Okay,
it?
so okay, so how I use it, and I know that you like to spot me here, but so I don't go off into my own wild thoughts. I use AI to kind of get a summary of what I should talk about for beginner, the beginners to MA and how,
Well, that is research.
yeah,
Even
yeah,
if its content is for beginners, it's research.
yeah, but my point is, if I didn't do that, I, as a avid MA fan, would go off into a completely more advanced topic of MA when I want my viewers to just have a basic understanding. I'm not trying to go deep dive right away because I don't want to scare people off, but
But
and
I mean, that's research too. It's like when I plan a video for a tutorial for this channel, it's all for beginners. Say that I want to do a tutorial about Google Photos for beginners. I can
yeah,
use AI to say, okay, I'm doing a tutorial about Google Photos for beginners. What should I include?
yeah,
And then I can get a lot of ideas. This is good to talk about for beginners.
yeah. So that's how I do it. Is I was like, you know, like write me an outline for about anime for beginners, and then I include how anime began and the most streamlined anime out there. That way, I'm not diving into some of the hardcore anime out there. So, I
Yeah, but that
mean,
I would say that that is research you're doing.
yeah, it is. It definitely is. But yeah, I mean,
Were
there's
were you? But I mean, there are so many other aspects. Were you here, James? Or I don't know if any of you were here when I did the episode where I talked about the script that I used to film my uh, podcast. They have now included an AI function, so that's called
yeah,
eye contact or something like that.
yeah,
It is if you have filmed your video and then you have a little piece where you don't look at the camera, so you don't
yeah,
have the eye contact, you can ask AI to change the video so it looks like you are looking in the camera, even if you're looking down here on the script.
yeah,
It's incredible.
yeah,
I uploaded, I think, a short on one of my channels where I
yeah,
had a little short piece that I did where I read the script down on the screen. And then I used this AI function. And
yeah,
you can't tell that I am not looking at the camera when you compare the two.
yeah,
That's one of my biggest problems.
yeah, I was here when you talked about that. And
Yeah.
then, yeah, because you did a demonstration of it when it was me and all uphill. So,
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
it's incredible. It's incredible what you can do with AI. I mean, because that's especially when I have done a lot of research and do my podcast, sometimes I really have to read to get things right because it's not just talking, it's like factual things, and I want to get it right. So I have to look at the screen. But then you can fix it with AI. So
yeah,
nobody
yeah,
knows. It's
yeah.
crazy.
Uh,
It is crazy. Are you back home again, James? I forgot to ask you.
Oh yeah, this is my office.
You know, no more doctors
Well, for now, we're actually leaving
for
again.
now.
Well, that one was we were just there for the week. We're actually leaving again next week to go back up there. So,
uh,
uh,
Okay.
well, we were getting her ready for a surgery, and we have since delayed because they're starting to have COVID breaks out there. We're having COVID outbreaks
Oh.
here, and they were concerned with the. She already has a compromised immune system. The surgery is going to compromise her immune system even further, and they're really concerned with the rise of COVID and flu season and everything else that's going around right now. That she's going to get sick with something post-op if we do the surgery.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
So we decided to delay it until the spring. But she's been getting hip injections, a cortisone shot into her hip to give her some relief. But they had skipped this last one because she was due for it last month. But they were fixing to do the surgery, so they didn't want to do the cortisone shot right before the surgery.
yeah,
So the surgery was supposed to be next week, but since we canceled the surgery, they were able to work us in to get the cortisone shot done next week. So we're going back up there to get
Okay.
that done anyway.
And
nice.
that helps her.
Yeah, it does give her a lot of relief. And like right now, she's getting the max pain meds that she can, just trying to keep her
Mm-hmm.
from being hurting all
Yeah,
the time. And it's kind of at the point of it's just barely taking the edge off. But we're also like a month and a half almost late giving it to
yeah.
her because she was supposed to get it at the 1st of August. And now we're almost
Uh,
halfway into September.
yeah,
Yeah.
So
Yeah. But that cortisone is crazy. My sister-in-law
uh,
that's handicapped, we have just started. She has a overactive bladder. Well, it's not a bladder. It's nothing wrong with the bladder. It's a brain injury that constantly sends signals to her bladder, so it contracts all the time. So she feels
see,
like she always have to go.
yeah, Emily's
It's
got the
like,
opposite problem. See, it's what they call um, what did they call it? We got a name for it now. Um,
uh,
dysautonomia,
yeah,
because
okay.
the autonomic functions of the brain are controlled by the frontal lobe. So if you have a brain
Hmm.
injury in the frontal lobe, or like my daughter, her frontal lobe is deformed, it can cause what's called dysautonomia. Basically, the brain is not creating the signals, or it's over creating the signals, probably in her case, that go to the uh, bladder and everything. Like Emily has to get catheters every 4 hours, and they have to basically keep her digestion so that they're keeping her feces pretty much liquid because she can't get
Hmm.
the muscle control
She can't get them
to
out. Yeah.
yeah,
push everything out because the brain's not creating the signals to tell those muscles to contract.
no,
That's the total opposite what we're dealing with. We have the constantly contractions, constantly,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, y'all's
that
is the
makes
opposite.
her.
Y'all's is she's over creating those signals. It's constantly making those signals.
Mhm.
Whereas Emily's, the brain's not creating those signals. So it's kind of the
And
opposite.
that leads
Similar,
to her
but they
being
both
afraid
fall
of.
under the terminology of dysautonomia, because dysautonomia is something I've been studying recently because they've recently added that to her list of diagnoses.
But then that leads to my sister in law not willing to drink anything.
Because she doesn't want to go
So,
pee.
yeah. And she gets very dehydrated, and that leads to constipation with that and all her medication.
Hmm.
So it's like you do or you don't. It always gets wrong on one end or the other. I mean, it's like,
Yeah, it's a
what do
constant
you do?
fight trying to battle keeping their system
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
properly working properly. That's something we deal with
Yep.
with Emily almost all the time. And most
Yep.
of the time
Yeah.
when she getting sick, it's usually something in that area going wrong. It's either GI
Mm-hmm.
or UTIs, bowel issues. Almost all of her issues have been somewhere in that digestive
Yep.
excrement center
Yep.
of the body.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the same with my sister, and it's all because of the brain injury. I mean,
Hmm.
but her brain injury isn't in the frontal lobe. She has brain injury on the left side and the right side. She had two car accidents.
Mm.
Mm.
So it's hard. It's a hard life.
Traumatic brain injuries cause a lot of issues, brain deformities. Well, see,
Mm-hmm.
with Emily's, her brain deformity is the left and right hemisphere of the brain did not separate. So she didn't
Okay.
build that, what they call the corpus callosum, which is the
Yeah.
division between the left and right. Her brain did not form that. And then she also has what's called microcephaly. So there's a portion of her frontal lobe that did not form at all. If you look, she has a dent in her head. You can't see it really because she's
Okay.
got her hairline covers it up.
Yeah.
But when she was a baby and she was bald, it was really noticeable. She has this concave in her skull where there's no brain matter behind it. And if you
Hmm.
look at her MRI, it just looks like somebody just took a bite out of that section of the
Hmm.
head. There's just
Mm.
this big empty void right there.
That's crazy. That's
Uh-huh.
crazy.
Yeah.
Well, my sister, after her first accident, I wasn't here yet then, but she got back to almost herself because the other part of the brain took over
Uh-huh.
a lot of the functions. But then she had a maximal unluck to be in a second accident and got injury on that side of the skull too. So then it's, I mean, there is nothing left that can take over
Yeah. Because
anymore.
their brain is not one that they can, bypass or re, uh, you know, replace or anything. So they
No,
can't do a brain transplant.
not
They can't do
yet.
not yet.
Not yet.
The technology may
But
come out one of these days, but
oh,
it's not there
I
yet.
am I'm doing the research on BCI right now. I mean, there was a woman, I think she had a stroke. And they have developed something. They have put the electrodes. It's almost like the cochlear implant for
Hmm.
hearing, but it's for her speech. So this is just experimental right now. On the top of her head somewhere, she has this, and they connect this to a computer where she has an interface. They have created a model of her, and she just moves her mouth as if she was speaking, and the computer speaks for her. So I saw a video where she had her first conversation in years, where she just by moving the muscles in her face, the computer uh, interpreted and spoke for her. So she and her husband had the first real conversation in years. Before that, she used one of those tablets where she had signs for words, but that is not a conversation. It just takes forever to say something.
Yeah.
With
I'm working
this,
on
it
one of
was
those
just,
with Emily right now. But
yeah,
hers isn't a touch screen, it's an eye gaze screen. And they're trying
okay.
to train her how to use that eye gaze technology.
Hmm. But I mean, it's mind boggling how they can just, what they can do, what is possible with this technology. I mean, who knows? It won't be in my sister's lifetime that they can go in and fix it, but I mean, there is hope for the
Yeah, there's
future.
always hope. I mean,
Yeah.
just look at where medicine is now compared to even like with brain issues, because I've been involved in neurological studies and stuff for the last 10 years because of Emily.
Mm-hmm.
In just the 10 years we've had Emily, they've come leaps and bounds of what they
Oh
understand
yeah.
now from what they did then. And what
Oh
they
yeah.
did then is the way better than what they had like 30, 40, 50 years ago. So we have no idea where it's going to go in the next 10 to 15
No,
to 20 years.
Yeah.
and it goes
And
faster and faster.
I
I
mean, I
mean,
told Jessica,
well,
said we don't know. In Emily's lifetime, it's possible they could come up with a brain transplant, and they might be able to fix her brain, and she might be able to
yep,
actually have a normal life or a somewhat
yep.
normal
Who
life.
knows?
Yeah.
I can't
Yep,
say they will, but it's possible with the way the technology is growing and learning. And
yep,
Yeah.
yep.
It's
And
possible.
the more, I mean, but that's something. Studies, neurology studies is so important, even for normal functions. I had
Yeah.
a professor in back in Sweden, and this is 35 years ago when I went to teachers college there. That was He was a neurologist, and he was also an educator. He was a teacher and a neurologist, and he was so focused on teachers learning about neurology and neurofunctions. I mean, that was his goal in life, to get teachers to understand even a healthy brain, I mean normal brain, how it really neurologically functions, to help them become better teachers. And he was so fascinating, this man. I don't think he's around anymore. He was old back then. But I mean, that was one of the most fascinating professors I ever run into anywhere. How
Nice.
he combined the two, like pedagogical and neurological research. And
That.
well, and that was 35 years ago.
Mhm.
Uh,
It hasn't, in education, at least over here, it hasn't gone that far yet.
no.
There's, I don't know. I guess it's because it's not much money in elementary education.
No. No. No.
That's sadly how it is.
Yeah. Uh, but
It's not much research in things that don't can be profitable.
yeah,
mm,
That's just how it is.
that's that's how it is here, and
Yeah.
that's where I hear a lot of talk on things about privatizing healthcare or governmentizing healthcare. The problem is it kind of decentralizes research and growth and
Mm-hmm.
learning new things. And
Yeah.
that's a side of the coin. I mean, the reason we are one of the leading countries in a lot of the medical innovations is because we have a private healthcare system. Um, because the other
Yep.
countries learn from us how to do it.
yeah.
But that's the problem with education, at least with elementary education. There is no money to be made on it.
And money's what makes everybody tick. I
Mm-hmm.
don't like
Yeah.
that philosophy. I don't like that way of living either. I'm not a fan of it myself, but
No.
it's the way the world
No.
is, and we have to accept the world as it is, not the way we
No.
wish
Yeah.
it would be.
No, that's just how it is. And then there are these few, like, enthusiasts that do things for the right reasons.
There are people out there that do things for the right reasons. There's just
Yep.
less of them. More
It's
people
less
are
of them, yeah.
motivated to do good by greed than they are, sadly, by just doing it for the sake of doing it because that's the right thing to do for humanity.
Yep,
It's a
that's
sad
true.
truth and reality to look at, but that's the way this world is. And
Yeah,
I don't want to
yeah.
be a negative Nancy either, but There's
No,
more
I
people,
agree
more
with you.
innovation comes from greed than it does from trying to benefit humanity.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's just how it is.
And
I
part of it's
mean,
because even the people that have the right ideas that are doing the work, they're being funded by people that want it for the money that they can make off of
yeah,
it. People aren't
yeah,
putting money into their research for the good of
no,
humanity. They're putting money into their research because they want to make money off of it.
yep,
Yeah.
They're called return on their investment.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is. I agree with you. Just how it is. You can wish it was different, but that doesn't change anything.
Nope. Wishful thinking won't change it.
Nope,
Yelling and screaming on social media about it won't change it. That's what
nope.
I see. I see all this political stuff people yell and scream and get pissed off about on social media all the time. And I'm just like, why are you wasting your time?
Mm-hmm.
You're not doing any good. You're not changing the
Nope.
other side's opinion. You're just polarizing people more.
Yep,
And it's just like, I
I
understand the
agree.
frustration. I understand the emotions behind it. But at the same time, your behavior is not affecting the problem for the better in any way. And people
And
just
the
don't want to wake up
energy
and see that
people
they're just
and the energy people use to screaming on social media could be used somewhere else and
to
change
actually help.
something.
Mm.
And change something. Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. Guys, I am actually gonna end this for today. We
Okay.
have an early day tomorrow.
Yeah, we
It
Alright.
got a
was very
long day tomorrow.
nice see you both, and
You
I don't
too.
know what I will talk about next Monday. Probably, I know it will be something that has to do with AI in one way
Oh.
or another, but what it will be, I don't know. There's
All
so
right.
much to learn.
Well, pick a tool and just go through it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Cool.
think I'm going to do. This was easy because you had the Chat GPT and you could, and it's easy for me to make a video from it later on.
Yeah.
Just cut it down and use it. So it's always nice to see you, and if someone is in here lurking, it's always nice to have lurker in the channels as well. Until next time, stay curious.
Mm.